Hey, Sylvan here. In this video we're going to look at the text tool and how we can use the different settings in there to make different text for different kinds of purposes. So these are kind of the four different types of text we can make, and we're going to kind of look at how to set up each of them now. So I'm going to get rid of these ones. So for text there's a couple of different ways. We can import objects or paths from other softwares, but this one we're going to purely look at how to make them inside of Maya itself. So under create, under text, we want to go into the little square, and I'm going to just reset my settings. So first off, the text, so simply just write in whatever you want. So I'm just going to write tutorial. The font, there's a little arrow to the side, and it's the same as Word or any other sort of application. You have a list of fonts. These fonts are every font that is installed on your computer. So if you download any fonts and install them, they will appear in here and Maya will recognize them as well. The size isn't overly important because you can always scale your objects up after. The main things are your font style, and whether you're going to strike out, underline, or any other systems. So I'm just going to leave this Times New Roman. I'm going to hit OK, and to start off we're just going to make the first type, which is a curve. So what it does is it makes each letter as a separate curve. We can then use this to create lofts or just extrude and build geometry up that way. So I'm just going to group this and move it to the side. So that's kind of sort of the lowest and the most simple one. The next one, so I'm going to go back into create, text tool. This time we're going to go into trim. So same, has no options under here. It stores your last text, stores your font, create. This time what we get is just a single face on the inside of our objects. There's no edge loops or anything breaking it up, it's just a single face. So it kind of gives us the next level to work with. So I'm going to group these and move these aside as well. So the next one where we kind of start to get a lot more options is poly. So this is similar to the options we get when we're doing isoparams and other things. So I tend to use quads and a standard fit or a general fit. It's kind of pretty up to you. So I'm just going to do general per span number for isoparams because I don't want it to be too high poly. And then I'm going to hit create. So this time it looks exactly the same as the trim one, but we have subdivisions breaking up the lettering. Generally it doesn't look very nice, so you're going to need to adjust the settings or tidy up the text after. There is the actual curve, so we have our own. So we can either use the curve itself or we can use the geometry and then sort of extrude it back to create our depth. So same again, I'm just going to grab all of this and move it out of the way. So the last one, this one normally takes quite a bit of adjusting. So in the options and then bevel. This tool, the options inside here work exactly the same way as the Bevel Plus tool, which I probably will make a video for at some point. But we can just leave these as they are for now, and then using the channel box we can change the settings after. So I'm going to hit create for now, and what happens is it's probably going to look nothing like we want it to, because it's just done the base settings. But if we select this object, in the channel box we've got quite a few things that link to it. So the first one is outer style curve. If we click on the word we then get a drop down box of different styles, so you can kind of adjust through, pick whatever one you want. But the main thing we really need to fix first is the bevel +1 options. In here we need to adjust the extrude depth, and we need to adjust the width. This is all purely going to depend on the size of your object. So this object's quite small, so I've set it to 0.03. So this is what it looks like with a straight out, and that's another straight out. So that's the inside of the curve and the outside of the curve. The other option we have in here is bevel inside. This basically stops it from beveling inside on itself. So if I turn it on, it kind of deforms the object quite a lot, so you tend to want to leave that off. But for example, if I change this to concave inside edge and convex side edge, we get different kind of trims for our letters. Obviously, depending on what you're kind of going for, depends on how much freedom you want, depends on which one you use. But if you just want to create any base sort of text, the bevel is generally a good sort of place to start, as it has some preset styles in there. So that's the text tool. See you in the next video.